If you're here, it means that more than once, screens have taken up all of your time, causing your brain to become completely exhausted. You see, throughout our evolutionary history, attention has played a very important role in managing the immense amount of information our brain has faced. It allows us to prioritize and filter information, being essential for our success in thinking, emotions, and connections. To excel in these areas, we need full access to our attention. Let's be honest, you have no problem playing video games or browsing social media for hours on end. But what happens when you need to study for just half an hour, or work on a side project for an hour? Even though it is clear that these activities bring you long-term benefits, you choose to engage in other distractions that waste your time. What you want is not always what you enjoy. And it's not just about dopamine. Your reward system is out of balance, and your expectations are completely distorted. A book cannot compete with a video game if the game is your standard for a pleasurable experience. Therefore, a 24-hour detox won't fundamentally change anything. It may provide time for reflection, but it won't adjust your dopamine levels. This is not necessarily bad, but it won't achieve the intended purpose. On the other hand, some people seem to have no problem studying, exercising, or working on their projects regularly. This makes us wonder, why are they more motivated to tackle difficult tasks? And more importantly, is there any way we can make these activities feel easier? To answer these questions, we must remember that our attention is our most valuable resource. And for everything we pay attention to, there is a hidden but significant cost. The phone is a remarkable tool. All the world's information is packed in a single device that lights up, makes sounds, sends notifications, helps you fall asleep, all while exposing the brain to harmful blue light, ready to distract you at any moment. You don't need a psychologist to understand that the hours spent daily on the internet are harmful. But until you understand why it is so hard to put the phone aside, it is almost impossible to break the addiction cycle. In this episode, we will explore why excessive phone use is partially beyond your control. And more importantly, you will discover how to configure your phone and habits to be more productive. This is not about typical advice. We will explore actionable steps to help you maintain attention and focus throughout the day. Now, let's start with the definition. Dopamine is a neuromodulatory molecule, or in other words, a neurotransmitter that facilitates communication between neurons, influencing functions such as movement, sleep, and mood. It also acts as a prime mover, amplifying actions in the brain's reward and motivation systems. Throughout life, we learn from experiences and recognize that certain actions have consequences, either positive or negative. This learning process involves two stages: anticipation and experience. Dopamine acts as a bridge between these stages, signaling the disparity between expected and actual outcomes. When reality exceeds expectations, dopamine levels rise, reinforcing behaviors that lead to favorable outcomes. Conversely, when expectations are not met, dopamine levels decrease, prompting reassessment and learning from experience. It is important to remember that almost any activity releases dopamine, even basic ones like drinking water. However, activities with unpredictable rewards, such as gambling, trigger the highest release of dopamine. This phenomenon also extends to modern digital behaviors like browsing social media, playing video games, or watching porn, which flood the brain with high levels of dopamine. And now, you might think these behaviors are harmless, but you are wrong. They disrupt the body's homeostasis, which maintains the natural balance of internal functions. For example, depending on the season, the body maintains its temperature by shivering or sweating. Similarly, homeostasis manifests through the development of tolerance. A person who does not usually drink coffee will feel a surge of energy after a cup. In contrast, someone who drinks coffee daily will need more cups to feel the same level of energy, because their body has developed a tolerance to caffeine. Dopamine tolerance works the same way. The brain adapts to high levels of dopamine, making them seem normal. Before moving forward, There are two misconceptions that need to be addressed. 1. Dopamine detox. To make things clear, the concept of dopamine detox does not really exist. Most of the time, this term is completely misunderstood. But in reality, you can't do a dopamine detox because you need it to live and move. Think of it more as a reset of dopamine receptors. Also, this reset does not mean giving up all pleasures. There are quite a few articles or YouTube videos claiming that the brain is addicted to dopamine and that it craves it, but this is not true. It is not the brain that craves dopamine, rather, dopamine makes the brain crave things. Additionally, dopamine is not really the pleasure molecule. It is the motivation molecule. It doesn't say, I like it, it says, I want it. So, whenever you compulsively do something that doesn't even bring you pleasure, then you know it's time for a dopamine reset. 2. Multitasking. Interestingly, the ability to multitask is another misconception. Only 2.5% of people can do this effectively. Constantly trying to multitask can actually hinder your ability to develop deep and complex thoughts. It can also create a false sense of pressure, which, in the long term, impedes the brain's ability to transfer information, making it much more difficult to accumulate memories. Now, in order to perform the dopamine reset, it is essential that you consider the following 4 steps for at least 30 days, if you want to see noticeable results. 1. Identify the behaviors that cause you to lose focus, feel stressed, or become addicted, and eliminate those temptations. 6 common impulsive behaviors are emotional eating, internet and video games, shopping and gambling, seeking adrenaline and new experiences, recreational drugs, porn, and masturbation. 2. Audit your apps. Get rid of anything you don't really need. If you haven't opened an app in the past few weeks, you probably don't need it, so delete it. After that, you can also perform a notification audit. Sometimes, there are apps you use constantly, but you don't need to receive notifications from them all the time. The idea here is to eliminate any reason to open your phone throughout the day. Also, there's another important aspect to check, and that is your screen time. And here comes an interesting fact. Between 2019 and 2023, the average mobile screen time increased by 33.3%, from 3 hours to almost 4 hours. Considering that the average life expectancy is 74 years, if we follow a simple calculation, we come to the conclusion that a person spends, on average, 12 years of their life on the phone. When you put this number in the context of the rest of your life, you really start to see where your time is actually going. But before doing this, there are other fundamental aspects of our lives that inevitably consume our time. Let's say we spend an average of 7 hours per night sleeping. That's 22 years we spend asleep. Furthermore, most of us work around 40 hours a week for about 43 years of our lives. That translates into 10 years of work. So, in our lifetime, we will sleep for 22 years and work for approximately another 10 years. Then we add phone use, which on average is about 12 years. This means a total of around 44 years of our life spent almost on autopilot. Also, it's important to remember that mobile screen time increases year by year. 3. Develop a routine to track your habits. These are areas of your life where you want to see improvements. Having a non-distracting and easy-to-use app, like Notion, on your home screen, reminding you to exercise, walk, or study, will provide a lot of value in the long term. Additionally, another simple way to do this is to write things down. This habit helps clear your mind and understand your thoughts more clearly. It can also be an effective way to become more aware and manage your emotions. Your phone doesn't have to be a scary device that hinders your productivity, but it should be used for its ability to track what you do, to your advantage. 4. Follow a dopamine fasting schedule. Choose one day a week, and on that day, you will try to have as little fun as possible. You won't use the internet or any technology, like your phone or computer. You are not allowed to listen to music, watch porn, or eat junk food. This means that you will eliminate all sources of external pleasure for the entire day. Basically, you are going to embrace boredom. And yes, you are right, there will be a lot of boredom. However, you are allowed to do the following. Go for a walk. Meditate and be alone with your thoughts. Reflect on your life goals and write down those ideas. Now, this program may seem quite intense, but remember, if you want radical results, you need to be able to take radical actions. Yes, you will feel a bit bored, but that's the point. You want your dopamine receptors to recover from the abnormal levels that have flooded your brain, and boredom will propel you to do other things that day. Things you would normally procrastinate on because they don't release as much dopamine. And because you are bored, it will be easier to do them. Just a disclaimer here. If you suffer from drug addiction or other health problems, then you should seek professional help, as you have probably developed a physiological or psychological dependence, and you don't want to experience extreme withdrawal symptoms. In conclusion, it's important to remember that avoiding high dopamine behaviors every once in a while is good, but ideally, you should avoid them altogether. Instead, you should use these activities as a reward for completing difficult tasks, which will bring you nothing but incredible results in the long run.